Morning, this is Scott from the Living History School, and today I embark on my journey to make a bow and arrow using all stone tools. So what I have in front of me is a piece of basalt, one of the hardest stones you could possibly use, and it's just a natural spall, and I'm going to use it as a hand axe, and I'm going to cut this piece of ash down, and that's going to be my bow. So here we go, and I'll try to time how long each part of the journey takes. So what I'll do is keep track of my hours on how long it's going to take me to make the bow and the arrow using all stone tools. This is a challenge out there to anyone else that would like to challenge me. Okay, it took me 9 minutes to cut this piece off with this basalt hand axe. I can see my hands are going to be sore at the time. Since I think I'm going to use a piece of maybe a piece of rawhide or a piece of hide to protect my hands. So this is about, just went with a piece of my, just barely grip around with my hands. So the next step is to take this back to camp and put it on a log and chop this other end. About right up here. So the next step was to cut the other ends. So what I did was just drug it across and use it as an anvil, use the stump we cut before as an anvil and cut the second piece. And then I was a little too anxious to cut through it and I split it. So what I'm going to do next is try to take this natural split and just split it down the piece here. See if it'll work or if it'll ruin it. We'll see. So that was another 8 minutes. So what do I have, about 16 minutes or 17 minutes into it so far. So what happened next is that piece that split, I split it all the way down. It came out about there. So my next step is to take a piece of chert or jasper and use it as a shaver. So what I do is put it up into my chest like this, and then use it basically like a draw knife. You're going to pull it forward. Let's see how that's peeling that off. So that's how most of the work's going to be done on the bow, is basically by shaving. A lot of prehistoric tools weren't even probably recognizable as tools. Most of them were just simple flakes. When archaeologists first started digging sites, they probably never really noticed what the real tools were. They were probably throwing most of those out. So, for example, just a simple spall off a fire has a sharp edge around a fire pit. When they crack from the heat, it creates a spall. And a lot of these were probably tools, chopping tools and things. So you can't use obsidian on this. Obsidian is too brittle. So you want a chert or jaspers. So we're going to basically work one side and then the other. We want to do as much as we can on the first day because it's so green, and I'm probably going to leave this out in the moisture, maybe out towards the rain or something, so to keep it wet and kind of green, because it's a lot easier work. Just if you bring this inside and let it dry out, it's going to be too hard. And of course you want to make sure it's dry before you shoot it. But so what I'm doing now is attempting to split the other. Since the one side split, probably going to save me a lot of time. Attempting to split the other side. So I got a piece of basalt down in here. We'll see what happens. I might end up splitting the wrong side. So. Look at that. Left out. Great. So yeah, I split it almost down the middle. You can see that or not. So now I have less time to spend. I wish it didn't split like totally down the middle. So we'll see what happens. It's just an experiment. going to weaken it, but it's pretty strong wood, so we'll see how big a... Might just end up being like a little kid's bow. Okay, here's what we have after an hour and 15 minutes. We have, so far, these are the tools that we worked with so far. We cut it down with this hand axe, basalt hand axe, and then I tried to do a little bit more chopping with this piece of basalt. And then of course I split it by using this piece of sandstone from the fire pit and this piece of basalt. So we have two pieces of basalt and that piece of sandstone, and then this has been my scraper so far. This piece of feldspar, chert, and this is what we have so far. Probably just going to turn out to be a kid's bow, but you know, it's something to start out with. So it got split all the way down, so just have to work with it. And you can see that the ends are rounded from using the stone tool to cut it down with. And I think that's about a perfect length when you're scraping, because you can put this up against your chest and you can reach about where you can reach halfway and then pull back when you're using your chert draw knife. And then on the other side, probably about the perfect length for a bow, because you can do both sides, flipping it around. So that's one thing I learned. Probably having a good set of antler wedges would be something to work on, to have it in your kit if you're going to make more bows for splitting the wood. And of course, a nice adze would be, of course, really nice. But and then we need probably some more flakes. I'll try to maybe retouch that one up, or maybe try to find another piece that's a little bit sharper for continuing scraping. So there we go. So this is what we have after an hour and 15 minutes. Okay, here's what I have after 3 hours. So this is the end. What worked really the best was this tool here. It's like a little hand axe, little chopper. Fits in your hand like this, and then you chop along the edge. And I'll show you how to use that here in a second, but let me show you the rest of the bow. So that's one end. This end is a little bit more problems, because this is where I cracked it off out of the stump. When I cut it off, I tried to spin it the other way and crack it, which I shouldn't have done. It caused a little bit of stress in there, so I had to chop down to get rid of all those cracks that kind of ran up into the grain of the wood. So that's it for three hours. Grinding the. So what I'm doing now is using a piece of sandstone and grinding the edge down, kind of sanding and polishing it. You want one that's pretty gritty. So this is the other tool that I was using, I showed you earlier, and I will demonstrate it a little bit on this. So basically take a bit of shape off. So it's just like that's a knot right there. I'm trying to get through the knot. It's just like a little tiny little hand axe chopper. So I used this one. I went along this edge, and then I also narrowed that in, and then I took the sandstone and smoothed it out. So it's pretty close. I'm ready to cut the nocks across here and on that side for the string, I think, and then I got to go out and make some string, find some string material, and then I could string it up, and then I could tiller it a little bit more.